Welcome to another episode of the Uncorked video blog. I'm your host, Tony Dunn. Today we're going to taste some wines. Last week, I tasted some truly vile wines, the worst of the worst. The Thunderbirds, the Reunites, the Franzias, they were just vile. Today, as I promised, we're going to move up a notch to actually some real wine, hopefully some real wine, wines that taste a little bit better, we hope, than the really cheap stuff. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. I bought little bottles because it was cheaper. They were on sale. I didn't really want to buy 750 milliliters of this stuff, so I went ahead and got the cheap bottles. Let's start first with Gallo Twin Valley Oaks Chardonnay, California, non-vintage. So let's go ahead and see how this is. Pop this little guy. All right. The color is decent for Chardonnay. It's a little light. It's not bad. On the nose, actually, it's interesting. Last weekend, Jan and I went to Lodi and tasted wines, and we tasted some just, overall, the wines were just really vile. And this wine actually reminds me a little bit of that. It's not quite as bad. Alcohol and oak, that's really what you get in the wines in the Lodi area. This actually may be from Lodi for all I know. The Chardonnay, this is actually not overly objectionable. There's a bit of oak on the nose. You expect that with a Chardonnay. It's actually not too bad. Let's give it a taste. I didn't chill this wine. I should have chilled it. I'm drinking it at room temperature. Actually, not too bad for what it is. It's simple. I'm surprised it's not overly oaked. It's not really poorly made or seriously flawed, but it is drinkable. It's actually a drinkable wine. Not too bad. Let's go ahead and move on. Surprisingly. What's next? Oh boy, this is fun. The next wine that we have is a Woodsbridge 2004 California Merlot. Now, Woodsbridge actually is based in Lodi. Let's go ahead and give this fella a little rinse. We don't want to mix up our fine wines. You know, I got a real problem. Everything drips. Glasses drip, bottles drip, decanters drip, everything drips. I'm tired of dripping. It makes a mess and it gets all over everything. Can't somebody make something that doesn't drip wine? I don't know. All right. Woodbridge. Decent color, actually very nice color. It's fairly dark. I don't know if you can see that. It looks like red wine, I'm sure. But not a bad color. It's not thin or something you wouldn't expect for a Merlot. Okay, now this has a lot of oak on it, on the nose. Not really super over the top, but this has got a lot of oak on it. A lot of wood. It's actually not objectionable. It's not so toasted. It's a little bit oaky, but it's not that really super toasted oak that you get from so many of those wines in Lodi. So let's go ahead and give it a taste. Drinkable. This is a drinkable wine. Big surprise. It's not great. It has some rough edges to it. The finish is not too bad. It definitely has a lot of oak on it, but overall it's a drinkable wine. If somebody was to serve this, I would sneer as soon as I saw the Woodsbridge label. Well, once I tasted it, I would say, after a couple of glasses of this, you don't really notice it anymore. Let's move on to the next wine. This one, a classic, California classic, Sutter Home, California Cabernet Sauvignon, 2002 vintage. So this one's been around for a while. This must have been sitting on the shelves in the grocery store for several years, because I'm sure they're on the 2004 or if not 2005 vintage by now. So let's go ahead and give this puppy a taste. A little bit of rinse. Again with the dripping. Okay. All right. Again, pretty average color. Most of these wines, they sort of have the generic red wine color. I get a little dust and wax on this. It's just, it's not as bad actually as it sounds. It's very mild. It doesn't have a lot of strong aroma, and a little bit of oak. Not much in fruit flavors. It's actually fairly mild, not much noticeable at all in the nose. Let's go ahead and taste it. This one's not as smooth as the Merlot. It's not as complete. Certainly doesn't have much in the way of tannins or any kind of structure. It's a very simple wine, but again, it's drinkable. All three of these wines, to my huge surprise, considering where they come from. I mean, these are the big bulk producers. They're just a step ahead of the Franzias and the Almondens. These are the $5, $6, maybe even $7 a bottle wines. These are actually not horrible. Now, I may be a little bit biased by spending a weekend in Lodi, where pretty much all we tasted were really badly flawed, over-oaked wines. Really, most of them were terrible. A few were decent. These actually don't have any serious flaws. They're just sort of blah, simple there. But drinkable. Definitely a step up. If you've been drinking Riunite or Almonden, spend the extra money, step up to this. Next week, we're going to take even another step up to maybe the $9 or $10 bottle of wines. And we're going to see what those are like and see if they're even better. And we're going to keep doing that until we actually get to some good wines. Good wines with unique character, a sense of terroir, structure, complexity, more than just fruit and alcohol or oak and alcohol in the case of a lot of these wines. Something that's got some real character and something to really show you as a wine. We're going to get there. Maybe not next week, but we will get there. I'm Tony Dunn, your host for the Uncorked video blog. Tune in again next week and we'll try some more wines.